Hello everybody, I am the Traveler and welcome back to Angels with Scaly Wings. This video is very late. I usually try and get uploaded by Wednesday, but somehow I forgot. I thought that I had uploaded this week, but no. But here we are. Today is Friday and I am finally getting the video up for this week. Not too much longer until we actually move, if you've watched that video yet. But let's go ahead and get started. So, the next day I awoke with many questions lingering in my head. I considered calling someone from the police department to ask about Razor and Maverick, but in the end I decided against doing so, as I was sure they would contact me if they had anything to tell me. They are going to eat him. Okay, well maybe not eat, but you know, he is not going to be okay. I knew it was no use worrying about it for now, so I settled for starting another book. Bing pong. It didn't take very long though before the doorbell rang. Did Bryce, the chief of police, take it upon himself to escort me today? Oh, it's you again. Are you surprised? No, but I guess it'll mean bad news. Afraid so. How are you holding up? Better than yesterday, that's for sure. Let's go for a walk then, shall we? Sure. This time I was taking along a different route than yesterday, and I was quite sure there was more to this than just taking a walk. I'll just go ahead and guess you didn't find Razor. Yeah, we hoped he would have come back on his own by now. Do you have any idea where he might be? Maybe he mentioned some sort of place in particular that holds some meaning to him? No, not really. We didn't get a chance to talk much at all yesterday before. There's that, too. I have no idea why Razor would have done anything like that. I had the impression that they weren't very fond of each other, but this... How is he, by the way? Oh, Maverick is doing fine, but there's plenty of blame to go around. You're right, they didn't particularly like each other. In his statement, Maverick says he suspected Razor of planning some sort of attack. Do you know anything about that? No, he only told me something was going to happen, not that he was planning anything. At least that was the impression I got. He's suspecting you too, by the way. That you both planned this all from the beginning. No, that wouldn't make sense. Actually, none of this is making any sense. Why would we go through all the lengths of our agreement only to jeopardize it by doing something like this? You even already have our PDAs, and we don't have much to show for it yet. If we had any nefarious plans, this wouldn't have been a very good idea. You have a good point. I believe you, but from our side, we only have Mavericks worried on the whole matter. After all, he was the one who spent the most time with Razor since he arrived here. But even then, he didn't really have any reason to follow you yesterday, and his behavior was completely out of line. I'm just glad you came out fine. If he wasn't on mandatory sick leave, he would be suspended right now. We'll have to wait until this whole thing is over before we decide what to do with him. I can assure you this won't be taken lightly. Oh look, police on this world actually care about people and I've lost my train of thought, so I'm just gonna shut up. Maybe they both act in the heat of the moment. Where I come from, this kind of attack on a diplomat could be classified as an act of war, punishable by death. No, not saying that. I hope so. Maybe. We still got quite a lot on our hands now, though. We have a wounded dragon and a missing human. This could lead to a diplomatic crisis. Maybe Razor will show up soon, and we can get all of this behind us. I hope so too. I really wouldn't want to jeopardize everything over this unfortunate incident. Yeah. How about we both just keep quiet about this whole thing for now? After all, I don't think any of us wants our people panicking about this already, right? I merely nodded in agreement. Eventually we arrived at the police station, where the chief took my formal statement in regards to yesterday's events. He asked me about Razor and Maverick too, not that I knew much of anything that preceded yesterday's events, or the mysterious catastrophe Razor had mentioned. Afterwards, he thanked me and left to file my statement while I sat by his table, waiting and listening to the going-ons of this small provincial town police department. When he returned, he was approached by someone who seemed to have urgent news. A lot of talking between the two ensued that I couldn't make out from my position. This went on for a bit until Bryce returned to me. Afraid I have more bad news for you. Razor has now officially become a murder suspect. Murder? We're headed to the crime scene, and I hoped you'd come with us. Me? A crime scene? I don't really know much about forensics. It's just that you're the only link to Razor we have. Consider what he said would happen to us. It's in all of our interests that we find him as soon as possible, and if he has anything to do with it, you might be able to help us find him. Your cooperation will certainly be appreciated, and it would be a nice gesture to show us that you're trustworthy in the eyes of those who might think otherwise after what happened yesterday. Will you help us? Will you help us? I will help you, yes. I suppose I don't really have much choice here, but you're right. We've got to find Razor, and if that's what it takes, then I'll do it. Very well, let's go then. On our way to the crime scene, he tried to prepare me for what would come. I had studied biology, so I was familiar with the sight of dead animals. Asking myself how similar this would be, I wondered if my action would be any different if it wasn't a dragon, but a human corpse I'd be seeing. I don't think my reaction would be any different because I took biology in school as well, and when it came time to dissect the frog, I was way too creeped out, and I made my lab mates do the cutting and the dissecting and the extraction of the organs, and I wouldn't touch it for all the money in the world. When we arrived, we were met by Sebastian, who gave us an overview of the whole situation. I forgot your voice, Sebastian. This morning, the victim was found by a delivery flyer for a restaurant. Blood loss from multiple wounds are the likely cause of death. Forensics was already here. Forensics, I read it right the first time, was already here, so feel free to poke around. Bye, I guess. A few paces in front of us, the unfortunate victim lay on the ground, covered by a sheet that concealed the body, but not the large red stain beneath. We approached while Sebastian went off to deter any curious onlookers. I know it won't be pretty, and I'm sorry for putting you through this, but you know what's at stake here. Just remember what I told you, and you should be fine. Alright? Are you ready? Let's do it. Dot, dot, dot. That cut, don't like it. What do you think? Well, he's definitely dead. Thank you, Captain Obvious. I should have named you Captain Obvious, not the Traveler. Yeah. Rest in peace. Let's just say this will be your test. And tell me what you can deduce from what you see. Give it your best shot. Investigation start. Huh. 2 wings, 2 legs. Just like the waitress in the cafe. About as big as a human, lengthwise, if not slightly taller. The wingspan would certainly look impressive at that size. Okay, I don't click anything. The wounds are kinda hard to miss. Again, thank you, Captain Obvious. True, but what are they telling you? They were inflicted by a sharp implement. The perpetrator was an unusually large or small person. He was already dead when he got these wounds. It was suicide. No, definitely not suicide. There's no way that you could cut your throat, like your own throat like that. And no, he was definitely not already dead when he got those wounds, because there's definitely too much blood for that. The amount of blood indicates that the heart was still pumping when those cuts were made. I'm gonna go with they were inflicted with a sharp instrument. I mean, that's the most obvious answer. I don't really get this one that an unusually large or small person, but sharp instrument. They are clean cuts, like from a knife or another sharp instrument. That is true, but why does this matter? Dragons don't use knives. Do they? I mean, it could have only been someone with hands. It tells us that no, it was not suicide. I don't remember. I think dragons do use knives. It could have only been someone with hands. This guy technically doesn't have hands. So, I mean, if dragons were going to fight, usually it's tooth and claw. So, I mean, it does depend on the fantasy, but I'm gonna go with. This might be a bad choice, so I'm gonna save here real quick. That way I can go back. Dragons don't use knives. I knew it. Actually, we do. Mostly by those who have the proper hands to use them, but still. Yeah? Okay. I should have gone with the good one. That's right. Only those of us who walk on two legs have the proper dexterity to wield a knife effectively. Most other dragons would probably just bite and sit. See, that's what I said. Of course, this rules out most of the bigger dragons and flyers. But then Razor still has his. What was it called again? You mean his gun? Yeah. If it was him, why would he kill someone with a knife rather than just use this gun on him? Because yeah, okay, so it makes him look cooler. No, I was gonna say because one, it would make noise, and two, it would be the most obvious that Razor was the perpetrator because he is the only one on this entire planet with a gun. So if he used a knife, he could cast suspicion onto anyone because anyone with hands can use a knife. But he's the only one with the gun, so it would obviously be him. I'm not going to say he lost his gun. I highly doubt that. I'm going to say he did not want to make any noise because that's the closest to my deduction. And again, this is obviously not suicide. He did not want to make any noise. After all, he ran away from that, trying to hide from the police. Something as loud as a gunshot would have easily given away his position and alerted others to the area. Right, that could be a good reason. By the way, which wound do you think was the lethal one? Obviously, the knife wound to the neck, because that's where the majority of the blood is coming from, and the others, I'm going to say the knife wound to the neck was probably the death blow, and everything else was inflicted after that in a kind of, what's the term that they use? Heat of passion, or just, you know, rage filled. I'm pretty sure it's the one on his neck. These ones aren't deep enough, and there's not enough blood from them. This one is pretty deep, but it's not bleeding as much as this one. And this is a lot of blood coming from this area, so plus, you know, if it's as deep as it looks, he definitely cut the trachea. The one on the neck. I think it was the one on his neck. That's right. If all the blood from it wasn't a giveaway, this is a stab wound, characterized by a rather small footprint. Footprint? What footprint? You can tell it's also the deepest one. See, that's what I said. Hey, watching all those crime show dramas actually paid off. And from the location, it's pretty obvious this must have done tremendous damage. What else do you see? There's a huge pool of blood. Well, there's lots of blood. The blood spatter suggests that he was hemophiliac, he had AIDS, he died here. I just said there's a lot of blood. Why would I say, oh, nah, this isn't blood? He was dragged here after he died. He committed suicide. No, actually, the amount of blood in the area actually does indicate that this is where he died. This is where the attack occurred, and this is where he died. Blood spatter. Yeah, blood spatter. Blood spatter is when the wound happens, and while the heart is still pumping, it sprays blood out. And so, if there's blood splatter all over the walls, that means that's where the incident occurred. There's not going to be blood splatter. If you take the body and you drop it somewhere else, there might be a pool of blood, but there's not going to be blood splattered. That happens when the wound is made. He died here. He died here, else there would have been a trail we could follow. The spoilers also suggest this is where they fought. I swear I haven't played this before. That's true. Unfortunately, it doesn't help with determining who the perpetrator is. When did this become Ace Ventura? Objection! Excuse me? Sorry, I just always wanted to say that. You say that in court, not... for fuck's sake. Go on, please. What about the blood on his muzzle? Yeah, I noticed that too. I'm pretty sure that he got a good bite out of whoever attacked him. You tell me. The blood on his muzzle suggests that he is a vampire. He fought back. Yes. He had a bloody steak earlier. No. He has gum disease. Again, no. He bit his tongue during the fight. That is a possibility, but the amount of blood around the lips and on the teeth, I don't think you get that from biting your tongue during the fight. I think the teeth might get a little bit bloody, but you'd swallow more of the blood or spit it out as you fought. Probably spit it out, probably spit into your opponent's face. So you wouldn't have that much blood on your lips than compared to if you bit your attacker and they bled onto your lips and into your mouth. It might be the perpetrator's blood. Yes, that is true. I expect forensics already took a sample of it, so it might actually help us determine who the perpetrator is. I think that's about everything. Investigation over. How'd it do? B-. You know what, kid? I'm impressed. Maybe we should have you around more often. Investigator. Yeah. System, you did well on the first investigation. Yay! Hey, Chief. Do you still need the witness here for anything? There was a witness? Sebastian approached with the dragon who had discovered the body earlier. I recognized her as a demon. The waitress from the cafe. She seemed distraught, which, given the situation, wasn't very surprising. Did I say a dean before or a D-name? I don't remember. I don't think so. Take her to the department, get her statement written up, and that should be it. Sure thing. Alright, miss. We're going to have to take you to the department. Of course. When she spotted me, however, her composure brightened visibly. Oh, it's the human! Well, I am a human. I have a name, you know. Grow with. Well, I am a human. Well, I'd call you by your name, but you never actually told me it. It's Traveler. What are you even doing here? Do you work for our police now? Looks like it. Maybe I should be calling you Officer then. I don't think I'm quite there yet. By the way, I didn't know you also did deliveries. I do a little bit of everything, really. That's nice. I liked my fish yesterday. You don't have to hide it. I know it's quite an acquired taste. To be fair, I wouldn't have recommended it to someone new like you, but you could always try something different. Here's a number if you don't want to come in, and we'll deliver anything we have to you. Thanks. Sorry, I guess we should get going. Bye. What do we do now? I suppose we'll head off to... Unless... Oh no. What is it? We've got... We've got a violent homicide, and of course nobody from the department tells me. I have to find out from a neighbor who wanted to ask me about it. Good thing rumors travel fast, eh? Of course nobody told you. You're on sick leave. Mandatory sick leave, I might add. I'm not here in any official capacity, you see. I am merely enjoying a curative walk in the fresh air and happen to come across you by accident. What do you want? I don't want anything. I just find it interesting that no one tells me about this. But the prime suspect's buddy can mess with the investigation. I see how it is. I know what you're thinking, but don't jump to any conclusions here. I don't need to jump to conclusions. I think the dead body we found says it all. You really have an attitude problem. You know, if you weren't on sick leave, you'd be suspended right now for attacking Traveler yesterday. Do you even have any idea what kind of repercussions this could have on us all? Me? Attack Traveler? As far as I can see, I'm the one who's injured here. Besides, I'm so sorry for apparently being the only one who's doing his damn job. Right. Let's just all sit idly by while the suspect's on the loose and planning his next move. You know, whatever it was Razor was talking about, he was going to tell me just before you showed up yesterday. I don't need to hear you, of all people, belittling me about this. What's your problem? If anything, I want to find him just as much as you do. Don't compare me to yourself. Your words mean nothing. Enough. You shouldn't even be here. So you better go now and get some rest before I have to take disciplinary action. Fine. But when we find him, you'll see I was right. If I have to prove it myself, so be it. Can he even just do his own investigation like that? Well, as long as he doesn't interfere with us, we can't really stop him from doing things in his own free time. I see. I suspect he won't adhere to the standards of performing an unbiased investigation, though. He has already made up his mind. It's clear to me he won't be looking for facts, just for evidence to support his own view, in order to prove it to us or himself. Who knows? He's always been like that. Always something to prove. We'll have to be careful. He'll be looking for Razor soon enough. To be fair, I might be too if I was shot. Let's hope we find Razor before he does. At least that means someone will find him, right? I mean, I'd be upset too if I was shot. I, however, would not be like that, so yeah. Yeah. Don't worry, Razor will turn up eventually. I surely hope so. All things considered, I had to admit that it remained a possibility that Maverick was right. But could the Razor I know really be a murderer? Oh. You know what? If you think of something that might help with the investigation, or if you need anything else, just call me. I will. Well, I think we're done here. Let's go. Brett sent me back to the apartment. I guess there wasn't really much for me to do in the meantime, as I was spared the more arduous parts of the investigation. Maybe I should have been glad about this, though now I had an afternoon to fill. And with that, I'm going to leave it here for this episode. Quick save. I want to do a proper save there. There we go. So yeah, this has been very enlightening. I have no idea what path we're really going down right now. I'm pretty sure I'm siding with the dragons on this, and I would definitely have sided with the dragons if this were a real life situation. But this definitely took a turn for the unexpected, in my opinion, because I did not expect it. I did not expect it to be human. Looking at the Steam page, there was mention of murder, but I thought this was more along the lines of dragon on dragon violence, not human on dragon violence. So this has taken a turn for the unexpected to me from what I expected going into this game, but I'm really enjoying it so far, and I'm not sure how long this one is. I just finished Necrojishi, and that one was on my own time, and that one was a pretty short story. And I imagine this one probably has multiple endings, just like Necrojishi. And I'm gonna try and get to the best ending, but I probably already fucked that up somewhere along the way, and I'm just going to get a good ending, or I might even get a bad ending. Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see when we get there. But thank you all so much for watching. If you liked it, give that like button some love. Maybe hit that subscribe button too, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.